It is 9 a.m. Calling this public hearing on the preliminary budget to order. So we can go ahead and receive comments from any citizen that has anything they would like to comment. So open the floor up to anybody that citizen needs to like anything to voice. Good morning.
So is this just questions, or will there be a statement on the proposed budget that has been discussed by the council?
So no, this is a public hearing, just like with the millage rate. Remember when we did the public hearing for the millage? This is the same thing. This would be a public hearing for everybody that doesn't know. A public hearing is a opportunity for citizens to voice their concerns. It's not a Q&A. It's not a thing for the council. It's really a forum for the citizens to voice concerns about in the budget or taxes or whatever the public hearing is pertaining to, right? So there's really no. It would just be based on what citizens bring to the table, and then we would voice those concerns back to the council. Mm-hmm. So if like for instance, if they said we don't like the fact that you're giving money to set A, or we do like the fact that you're giving it to set A, then that would be where the citizens would voice it. It'd be this scenario. Yeah, we did this exact meeting last year. We did it here, and then we did one at the meeting, which turned into a Q&A, which it really shouldn't have been, but that's kind of what it just happens when you have multiple people in the room.
Is there another platform for the citizens to ask questions about the budget, or is this the only time?
No, they can come to the council meetings every month. Yeah, so
right, but before the budget's passed.
Yeah, it would be at that council meeting, or they can talk to their actual city
representative.
Council. Correct.
Okay.
Good morning, y'all.
Good morning.
But yeah, that would be the times, right?
Just curious, would you be able to email me like some items about? As I understood, the Black History Committee I think the city agreed to pay for 1 or 2 more markers.
I don't. That would be something that the mayor and whatever the mayor and the council said they were going to do. Yeah, whatever that is. I don't remember what that vote was or what they said during that time period, but I'm sure they can. I don't have that information, but
okay.
But yes, I know. I vaguely remember them saying they were going to finish up the ones that had already started.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
I could write that question down to take back to the mayor.
Yeah, and then she can pass it on. That works.
One other thing I was thinking about, it's a very long-term idea.
Mm-hmm.
Is think about that school on Gordon Street. And think it would be really nice someday to rebuild it, but like keeping some of the school structure maybe, but like rebuild it and make it basically the county museum.
I like that idea.
With there'd be a lot more room, and that way we can integrate white history, black history, and native history all together at one place.
Yeah, no, I like the idea. It's a great idea. I definitely will bring that back, and that's one of those things that. And then just so everybody knows, this is not a forum for just random. This is only pertaining to the budget, but we'll answer that. That's not a. I like the idea. I think it'd be a great idea. Although I think there's a lot of communication needs to go into that, and a lot of work and a lot of collaboration between a lot of different people. But I think it'd be a great idea.
That, and I'm thinking that in order to make it more profitable for the city, thinking one of the ladies I'm on the committee with was suggesting that we maybe did an event hall, possibly with catering capability. Like so that people can actually hold events at their old school. But hey, I might be getting too technical there at this point.
That it'd be getting in the weeds, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you're asking Will personally, because this is video, just because I'm who you're asking. Mm-hmm. I'm open to anything, and I don't know why people have got it in their minds that I'm closed-minded or temperamental or whatever. I'm open to anything. I am 100% available to any ideas but they can't be all my ideas. Meaning I'm not, I'm not the idea generator, right? So if the citizens want something, then that's where you push your council people and you say, hey, we want this. So like perfect example, when the URA comes to me and says we want to do this, and this, I'm behind them 120%. We got to get the council to be behind them. And if the council's behind them, then the city staff can then help facilitate that and make it a collaboration that's a successful one, right? Versus it being, group A, B, and C against the city. It should never be that way. The city is your partner, right? It's like you're a stockholder essentially. That's what that's how I look at the city. We just try to execute the wishes of. So we execute the wishes of the council. So that would be something that, as a collective group, I think a group of citizens should, push that agenda if that's what they want. I think it would work. It just has to be managed correctly. That's the key to everything, right?
Could you just give a general overview of the proposed budget as it's presented?
Like when you say a general overview, what are you asking for specifically?
Like what are the spends for the proposed spends, revenue estimations?
So all that's available if y'all want to see it. But yeah, the proposal spend is going to be 59,743,305 and that's a $2.5 million rough reduction in the spend. So that's reducing the overall budget by $2.5 million, which I think is a good thing. It gives us, we're running a little more lean, a little more efficient. And you have to remember too, when you think about budget, so everyone, and I'm just literally just talking just for y'all's sake here, but like when you think about a budget, most people do a budget based on a fixed income, right? It's hard to do a budget on variable income because you don't know what's coming, what's not coming. And what a lot of people don't realize is the city, when we say this number, that number is not saying that we have that on day one, right? We have to earn that money. And a lot of people forget that. So when you look at these line items in the budget, that's earned money. Very little of that is coming from like property tax, very little.
So what are the proposed revenue streams?
Well, so it's the ones that we have, right? So you got your property tax, your water, and all your utilities, essentially, right? So it's your utilities that we make money off of, trash. But you got to remember, we have to pay the county to dump our trash. So it's not like it's profit.
Are there any other revenues coming in?
Well, the only way we make money would be from like the things we have, like utilities and property tax.
So that projected revenue is what?
The projected revenues will be right at 50, within. It's hard to speculate because we don't have an exact number on that. Because if you don't pay your property taxes, we don't know. If you don't pay your electric bill, we don't get that money.
Understood.
So
if there is an expected revenue, let me rephrase that. What are you expecting? And then if there's a shortfall, then you adjust. You do an amendment, right?
Well, so you would just adjust based on your operations, right? Yeah, you're right. We would just have to bring it up to the council and say, hey, this is happening. We're adjusting by this amount.
So just a ballpark figure.
I can't ballpark figure that. There's no way. There's no way for me to do it. I'm not trying to be,
So what are the key what are some of the changes? Are there cuts or improvements of services? Are things being eliminated as far as like
we're not cutting
the
any
$2 million?
We're not cutting any services. We're just trying to run more lean and more efficient. That's our goal. Is just to run efficient as we can. Mm-hmm. So when you propose these budgets, it's based on what we think we're going to be able to sell, basically, in electricity, right?
Exactly.
So, and we know that they're upgrading. Have you seen them? They're upgrading a lot of the lines running into the city or running into the county. That's all. That's Georgia Power's high lines, right? They own the transmission lines. So those lines running in, they're fixing them and trying to upgrade them to bigger, more efficient lines. So we hope that when they're done, that we'll be back to full speed. But we've been curtailed since January last year. They've been holding back power, for a while, which hasn't hurt anybody. Everybody's doing.
That's statewide, yes.
Yeah. Well, it's citywide for us, right? And but We've been doing that.
Is it roughly just like a 2% cut across departments? 3%?
It was just we cut where we didn't really cut. We just didn't need money for, we didn't have the income, so we couldn't spend that money, right? So the way these budgets, so we're not a deficit budget. So a lot of people think that cities run a deficit budget like the federal government. The federal government prints money, right? And where the city, we earn money. We're a service business. So if we provide services, like, perfect example, not to cut it short, perfect example. When you hear people say, oh, the power's out, where's my refund? Power bill's too high. Well, if the power's out, you didn't use any power, you didn't spend no money, right? So our mindsets as citizens, sometimes we forget that it's not, you're only paying for what you use. We don't bill you ahead. We bill you after the fact. So if you don't pay us, then we make no money, right? And we've spent that money, which means then the citizens have spent money that they didn't even pay for, right? So it's just a mindset. We're here to provide you with a service. We're here to provide you with, trash pickup, water, sewer, yard debris pickup, and then also power, right? So, and then obviously you get other services like Parks and Recs are part of the service delivery agreement. The animal shelter is part of the service delivery agreement. I'm just trying to think of some big ones. The libraries are part of the service delivery agreement.
So in the proposed budget, are those animal shelter, the library, are those going to be funded? Because there was discussion in the last call meeting that because reports weren't put in, those entities would not get funding. So is that a contracted SDR for the city, and those are secure?
So again, that goes back to your council, right? It goes back to the city's council. If the council doesn't vote to fund those things, then they would be the ones voting to not do it. I prepare the preliminary budget based on what was in last year's, and then it's up to them to decide what stays and what doesn't stay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, yes, currently they're in there, and they are. I put funding behind them all so that they would represent what they saw last year. However, who knows what the council's going to do, right? I don't know. So if they say yay, then yeah, of course it would be funded. Because that's all we'll do. The city hall will just write. We'll fund whatever they say fund, and we don't. And that's something too to remember. If they vote on something, we don't. The city hall doesn't veto any vote that the council vote. If your council votes on to fund such and such, then we just execute that. We don't argue with it. I'm not for or against any of it. I'm going to do exactly what they say do.
So is there a line item proposed for the water infrastructure? Has that been
There's
into the budget?
there's always been a line item for water infrastructure. Always.
So is that going to address the concerns citizens have had about
So we don't.
service continuity and water quality and safety?
So, yes, water safety is fine. Water quality is fine. Water that we produce is clear and safe. The distribution side of it is where we think that the coloring is coming from, right? We're not inside the line, but we know they're old. But yes, so you have sewer, you have wastewater, you have treatment water, all in the budget. Is it going to allow us to go out and just so everybody knows, when we talk about fixing the distribution system, that is not a $2 million project. That is a massive project. Let's just say $100 million for sake of a number. That you're talking about adding you can't put a line item for that. The way the budget works, it doesn't work that way. It has to be a separate thing. I made a separate page so everybody see it. There's a GL account for that. So if we go out and we meet with some engineers, i.e. Carter and Sloop, and they say, this is what you need to do. This is how we're going to attack, or how we suggest you to attack it. Then we can start allocating funding for it. But you wouldn't allocate the budget for it. What you would do is you would say, okay, case in point, if we have money in reserve, we would say, okay, we have, let's just say $8 million in reserve. We would say, hey, we have $8 million in reserve. What can we go do now? Can we go out and get grants? Can we go out and do matches? Can we go out and borrow against $8 million? Will the banks or entities allow us to borrow big substantial money, stretch it over 30, 40, 50 years? And then that's how we would attack it. But it's not something that you would ever put in the budget. And there's some reasons why that we can get into another time, but you wouldn't put them on this budget. That's just like, if you look at the latest copy of the budget, you'll see on the depreciation line, it says non-cash. Well, there's a reason why I put it in there that way. I'm showing that we're depreciating that much, but it can't be in the budget as cash, because if it's in the budget as cash, then once it's voted in, we can move those dollars, right? And we don't, inside of that line item, and we don't want to do that. We want it to be exactly what it's for. I.e. the water, like if it's something for infrastructure, then we need to have it in its own pool over here. So, but that, I hope that answers it.
I have a question if we're asking questions.
Yeah, yeah.
In years prior, did they ever put, this water system didn't just go bad today. Did they ever put money aside to rectify any water
No.
systems? Okay, so we're starting
Yeah,
that
so
now.
we're starting it fresh. And I just and to answer to that, and it actually goes to this question too. When I first came into my role, I looked at the P&L to see where we were losing money, right? Because if you have a service that's not paying for itself, then what are you like what are we doing, right? That means there's something off. It'd be like if you're in your own budget and you have a job that's not making you money, then you need to reevaluate what that is, right? So just like this, like water, it's like, why are we losing money in the water? Because we bill for it. Or is our billing wrong, right? Meaning, is it not high enough? Which everybody wants to hear that. Is our like property tax, per example, 8.32 generates about what, 680,000. So that 8.32 is $680,000. You can't run the city on that, right? So does that mean, if you asked me, you would say, well, how would you fix it if you didn't have sole electricity? Well, that obviously your property tax would go up, your water rates would go up, right? So that's something to keep in mind. You look at your bill, and a lot of people think that's just electricity. It's not. That's a utility bill. I think probably everybody in the room knows that, but there's a lot of people forget. It's not. You can't compare electricity bill to full utilities. It's two different concepts. But yeah, you're right. I mean, we're trying to attack it. We're trying to add a new concept to this. But yeah, we probably should have been. I mean, and I don't know this. This is just a feeling, but I would imagine that the infrastructure probably should have been tackled 20 years ago. And that's an arbitrary number, right?
So to piggyback off of what Ms. Pinkston asked, are you saying, you said now the budget is like 59, that's what's gonna be spent, but you said there were no cuts, and last year I believe it was 61, so is that 2 million going into fund balance after you've?
No, that's income changing, right? So if we're predicting we're not gonna sell as much electricity, right? So, because all basically you gotta figure 90% of your budget comes from electric, right? So if we don't have the income, we can't spend the money. So that's really what it boils down to. Because we're not at, like I said, we're not a deficit budget. I wish we were. It would be easy. You just pick an arbitrary number, right? And then you start printing money. But we're not that. It's where we're different from the federal government is we have to earn it before we can spend it. So we got to figure out, if we're not going to be able to earn it, then we can't spend it. That's where that comes from.
And about the property taxes, you mentioned that a couple times. I love the idea that the county is collecting everything, but is the city having to pay a fee for that?
Yeah, I don't remember what the percentage was.
Yeah, I think it's 3%.
3%. It's a low percentage, and it's a good thing because where it's different, they have the software to do it correctly. Because you think about it, you elected as citizens of the county, because the city is the county. Just so everybody realizes that we're in the county. So as you elected a tax assessor and a tax commissioner, right? We're paying them to be the professionals in that. So why not utilize that? And that was kind of thing. Plus, they're able to collect it a little more efficiently than we can. So that's a good thing. I would imagine though the dollar amount is going to be about the same in the end. But then hopefully, once the floss kicks in, that you'll start seeing it. We noticed on the bill they already had the line on the bill, so they're already set up ready to do it. So once that starts collecting, we'll start seeing those rollbacks, which will be a good thing. It's going to help. It's gonna help the county, it's gonna help the whole county, which is the city, so it'll help all citizens. If you're in the city, you're gonna see it roll back on your city and your county. So that's like a double whammy. That's a good thing for homeowners.
Is there a hiring freeze for the city?
No.
So the downtown economic director, is that a position that will be reinstated?
So again, everyone, please let's keep it to the budget if we can, but I'll answer
This is the
that.
budget,
I'm not arguing with you.
personnel.
I'm not arguing with you.
I'm not a citizen, I'm just asking general questions.
It's not Q&A.
Yeah, it's not a Q&A. But however,
It's pertaining to the budget, the hiring.
I answered your question. There is not a hiring freeze.
Okay.
We are actively looking to fill any seat that's available. It's just we want to make sure we do it the right way, find the right person for the role. That's really all it is. Anything else, anybody?
How will I gain access to the budget?
What do you mean, how do you gain access?
Like, whenever I get back from my next meeting, the people are gonna wanna see, like, the historical line items and what's allocated for it. Wonder how I'd get that information.
You're speaking about a committee, is that what you're talking about? So, yeah, I mean, you guys have access to the budget at any time you want it. But there's no, we need to talk we need to talk, because I don't know what you're referencing actually there, but, I don't know exactly what you're referencing. We'll have to talk.
Okay.
So when will the next, meeting for public input be?
So this is the public input meeting as far as the city's obligations are concerned. Now, yes, at the council meeting on the 8th, it is the 8th, right, the Monday? Yes, the 8th.
Today.
That's right, I think it's right. My calendar in my head's messed up. That would be your next, like, official
But you
meeting.
don't have to have two?
No.
You just have to have one.
You just have to have one by law. We did 2 last year, but I didn't do that advertisement last year. I did. Kathy did it, and she put 2 in there, which is fine. You can have 100. I mean, it's all what you want to do. You can have as many, as many past one as you want to have. But I mean, a lot of it, like I say, we're doing something we shouldn't be doing right now. This is surely, like, I'm actually obliging something I really shouldn't be doing. I shouldn't be doing Q&A, but I'm, since it's just a small group, we're just talking. It's really what a public hearing is. A public hearing is to hear the concerns of the citizens and for them to voice specific things that they would like the council to then go back and address. So if you have something specifically, tell me, and then I will be able to tell them, and then that way we can take it forward. Just like, if there's something direct question, we can ask them.
Okay,
Right.
I can take the questions
Yeah.
that
that's-
y'all want to take back to the council.
And-
So were any of these questions recorded? Because there were questions.
Yeah, they're all recorded. This whole thing's been recorded. I'm recording everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the council will be informed about
Yeah,
what the concerns are.
Yeah, if they want it, they'll be able to get it. So that's the thing too. Like, and remember that, please, everybody. And since it's being recorded on video, please remember that, everybody. Any concern that a citizen has, feel free. I mean, we're here all week. Feel free to come up here and talk to us or call us. We're more than happy to pass along your concerns to the council. The council is not always available because they're not here, right? They have jobs and other things they do outside. So, we're your. I don't know how it's gotten so adversarial over the time and the years past, but we're not the adversary. We're your advocate. The city employees need to be the advocate for the citizens. That's what we're here to do, is to serve and to try to be your voice. So if you have something, let us take it to them. Now, I don't know what they're going to say. If the council decides they want to do one, A versus B, then that's on them. That's why they were elected, right? And then we'll execute whatever that is. So everybody, please, we are truly your advocates.
My concern would be schedule another public hearing in the evening time on another day, because I heard you say that they could make comment on December the 8th at the meeting, but the way that is structured, is that citizens have 3 minutes, they say whatever, and then the council or mayor is not obligated to respond to them. So by setting another public hearing, that would give an opportunity to have actual Q&A and interaction.
Great point. However, if you heard what I just said, a public hearing is not a Q&A. I'm graciously answering your questions. That's not what this is. Public hearings are not what we're doing right now. A public hearing is you come in, you voice your concern, we note the concern, we take it to the council. There's no back and forth. So back and forth would be just what I was telling you. Come to us in advance, talk to us, let us contact whatever council person you need to speak to, and then that way y'all can do the back and forth. Because otherwise, you're not really being heard, right? Like we hear you, and we're taking it and we're moving it forward. So if you want a Q&A, that would be like town halls, those kind of events are Q&As, right? These public hearings are not. That's not what they're set for. There's a misconception out there that that's what this is, and that's not what it is. It's a place for you to come, voice a concern, direct it, and for us to hear it, because we're your advocate, right? We're your mediator. We hear your concern, and then we go and mediate it to the council, and that's how that works. But if you want to speak directly to the council, then that would be at a normal meeting or a town hall if they decided to do one. But that's on them. That would be on them. Right.
Well, rephrase, concern is to create a town hall
Awesome.
official with all the council.
I love your idea. I really do. I think it would be a great thing. And just like this, that's part of why I'm answering questions. I don't have to. I know that. But the reason I'm answering questions is because I think there's so many misconceptions in the community that like we should really clear that stuff up, and not everybody's running on these tangents and like half information, half not information. It'd be nice to be able to get it all at once. And then it's the way how things work, right? That's why I'm trying to explain. I'm not saying that this is what it is. This is this is the definition of it, right? So I'm just trying to explain that. But yeah, great idea. And happy Thanksgiving, everybody, by the way. All right. Do we have anything else? All right. Well, good. Well, everybody go and eat leftovers and have a great Thanksgiving. And hey, look, and honestly, thank you everybody for coming. I mean, I think it's a good thing. It's always good to have comments and conversations.